Well, here I am at the Village Bookshop in downtown Fairfield.
Bellingham.
Bellingham.
It's Fairhaven, which is not quite downtown, but it's its own thing.
Yeah. Well, The Dream Collector is about a journey of two sisters who experienced the radical changes in Paris that are happening in medicine and science and art. And they have intense relationships with Sigmund Freud and Vincent van Gogh and a few other major impressionists at the time. So it's a book about the changes that were happening in medicine, and medicine was looking more at the maladies of the mind and experimenting with hypnotism. And my protagonist started collecting dreams because she felt that they were unlocking the secrets of people that were having problems. And she met Freud, and together they started collecting dreams of various people, especially Vincent van Gogh. Sabrine was confined at the Salpêtrière Asylum in Paris for 5 years. She was taken there at the age of 15 and diagnosed with what the chief neurologist, Charcot, said was stereoepilepsy. And she was there 5 years, and then Freud came as a young intern and was given the case. And so he was able to, through hypnosis and talking with her, seemingly able to cure her. So the first book is really about that process, about being in Salpêtrière Hospital. It was a home to over 5,000 women. If you can imagine, it was a city within a city. And they put all of the disabled, the deranged, they were all bunched together, 5,000 of these women together. And so she lived there, and I talk a lot about Salpêtrière and what Charcot does with these women, and experiments with these women, and basically puts them on stage to do kind of interesting, crazy things because they're under hypnosis. And Freud is noticing all this, and Charcot's saying, well, they're all physically ill, you know, that's why they're doing what they're doing. And Freud said, no, I think maybe it's something else going on. So that explores all of that, young Freud in the first book. But I'm here to talk about the second book, which is Sabrine and Vincent van Gogh. And what I like to do is just give you a sample of my writing. And the best way to do it, I thought, I clocked it, I'm under 10 minutes. But this is the first chapter. So, and just as, well, it'll speak for itself. But I better just say, Sabrine is leaving this hospital. So this is the chapter that she's leaving the hospital. In spite of Dr. Charcot's dire warnings, I took Sabrine out of Salpêtrière. She was released to me carrying a portmanteau which contained little more than an extra petticoat, several hair ribbons, and a tortoise comb. The morning was dismally gray. A dank chill hung in the air as we stood in the central courtyard, hand in hand, staring at the Mazarin gate, unlocked and wide open. We were quite alone, except for scatterings of plump pigeons pecking for things between the damp stones. We took the first steps toward the open gate, only to hesitantly stop at the sound of harsh shouting. From the 5th-story window of the Pinel building, we saw indistinct faces peering through the bars. The top floor housed les isolés, the isolated ones. Those women considered irrevocably insane. They were now greatly agitated, shouting down at us with a desperate plea. take us, take us, take us too. I was familiar with the isolated ward, on occasions visited them. Some of the more unmanageable had to be straitjacketed, a few chained. But I found that whenever I approached even the worst of the raging women, just to loosen the straitjacket and patiently hold a hand made their rage in time vanish. Those unable to recognize who I might be, each and every woman soon turned trustingly docile. Now I watched them crowded at the bars. Their plight appeared more hopeless than ever. A clamorous chant arose from every window. Sabrine, Sabrine, Sabrine. Word had spread, even among les isolés, that Sabrine was gaining her freedom. My sister listened, not at all perturbed, to the chorus of troubled minds calling out to her. Behind their bars, did they think her name alone was a talisman to set them free? Sabrine, Sabrine! And she let go of my hand. Anonymous faces pressed against the bars of the windows, and a myriad of disembodied hands reached through, grasping at nothing but air. Sabrine directed her gaze toward them. Her look one of utter serenity. When she closed her eyes, I tried not to panic, but feared that she might be on the verge of an hystero-epileptic attack. She dropped the portmanteau to the ground, outstretched her arms to the ward above. I will swear to this day that my sister embraced in that moment every broken heart. The tumult incredulously died. The plaintive cries and pleas ceased. The morning stillness reigned again. Her outstretched arms had a quieting effect on everyone, but I remained anxious. Are her outstretched hands a preamble to the crucifixion pose? Has she lapsed into a standing trance? Has the hysteria of Salpêtrière lured her back? Not wishing to endure one moment more inside the city of the misbegotten, I escorted her as quickly as possible out the gate. On the other side of Boulevard de l'Hôpital, the carriage and the coachman waited, he bundled ear to toe in a ragged coat and thick scarf, the reins ready in his hand, the two roans exhaling white, feathery plumes of mist. She eagerly climbed into the back of the cab, while I gave the driver the written address. But I instructed him to first taxi leisurely through the Bois de Boulogne. We now had time to do as we wished. The horses fell into a rhythmic trot, our carriage car rocking us gently as Sabrine stayed intently interested in the passing scenery. She took to humming cheerfully, occasionally turning with a reassuring smile. I thought her smile expressed the happiness of being liberated, of the fact that we were once more together to share the adventure of life. No one under the sun, moon, or stars would separate us again. After a pleasant ride through the park, I signaled the driver, tapping the little window, and he steered the horses toward Montmartre. The moment seemed appropriate to hand her the present I had saved for weeks, a diary to write down your thoughts, and, so I hoped, your poems. But only if you wish. My sister did not disappoint me. When we reached our destination, her new home, she showed me the poem she had composed. You are vellum to me, crisp at the edges. I want to slow turn your slim-paged ivory self and peruse you voraciously. We fell into an embrace. So much was waiting to make our lives whole again. Thank you. So, if I grab a reader on the first couple pages, and then we'll read it.
I have a question.
Sure.
What inspired you to write this story?
The what if question. what if, since I found out as I was doing research, I was doing graduate work in art history and trying to find a paper to do, and then came upon an interesting fact that Sigmund Freud was in Paris in 1886, and he came for his own reasons, and Vincent van Gogh was in Paris the same year. But what if, what if they met? What if they encountered, or what if they somehow got to know each other? So that led for me to explore all of their connections. That's where the research began. Like, why was Freud in Paris? And that led me down a whole labyrinth of connections. He went there he was a pathologist and went there to study how hypnotism. Charcot, who led the Salpêtrière, he was a master of hypnotism, and he used to have shows at the Salpêtrière on Fridays where he would hypnotize these hysterics, and they would do all kinds of contortions that kind of mimicked epilepsy. And sometimes he would do something like he could make someone so stiff from hypnotism that he could lay a woman down on 2 different blocks, 2 chairs, turn them around, and he could have someone sit on them. And because they were hypnotized in a trance, they were able to. So he did all. Anyway, that's why Freud went there, and Vincent van Gogh went to Paris to be with his brother, who was an art dealer. And his brother Theo said, guess what? There's a new kind of art here. It's called Impressionism. Vincent Goethe, he was kind of into Rembrandt. He was doing dark things. So when he discovered the Impressionists, we know what happened to his work. So both people, it was a pivotal time in their lives. And after being there, it changed the course of history. A long answer to your question.
Very interesting.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.